What's up guys, it's Beasley Tech Talk here, and today we're going to speak about 5 reasons why you should upgrade for the 14 Pro Max all the way to the 17 Pro Max. If you're really thinking about upgrading this year, I'm going to show you a few reasons why this might be the best option, especially this year, to really upgrade. Reason number 1, the overall body design. Yes, there are people online complaining about the aluminum and quote unquote scratching a little bit easier than either the titanium or the overall stainless steel that's on the 14 Pro Max. And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, yes, titanium is a little bit stronger than aluminum. However, at the end of the day, with any product, if you're not taking care of it, you're going to get scratches, whether it's titanium, whether it's stainless steel or aluminum. So it really doesn't matter. As long as you take care of your stuff, you're not going to get a lot of scratches. And as you can see, you may not be able to see it as much, but on this stainless steel phone, you can see that I do have some scratches right there. So regardless of how you take care of your phone, it's a possibility to get scratches across the board. Another reason with the body design is the USB-C functionality. You can do a lot of things with this port. Not only can you just charge it like any other phone with the lightning port, but you could also plug in USB hubs and stuff like that. Use a external monitor if you want to for gaming, which is pretty cool. You could also plug in external drives and also use this phone as an external monitor if you have a really great camera. And because of this USB-C, it's just so many more functionalities that you can do now that is highly worth it, especially if you're thinking about considering upgrading from the 14 Pro Max, especially if you're a power user. The next reason with the body design is the fact that the action button is really versatile. Now, I did hear a lot of people were trying to switch back from their older phones because they really miss that mute switch button. However, in my opinion, the action button is just so much better because not only can you just tailor it towards something, but you could actually put shortcuts on it and actually get at least 8 different things, which is a lot better versus just muting the phone. And you can still put the mute option right there if you want to mute it, and also unmute it easily if you know how to use shortcuts correctly. And let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on showing you how to set that up. Another reason why you want to upgrade is because the speakers on the 17 Pro Max are just way better than the 14. What I personally noticed is that with the 17 Pro Max, not only do you get a little bit more detail in the bottom, but it's less opportunities for it to distort versus with the 14 Pro Max, which has more distortion and less bass overall. And the fact that they really are improving these speakers in a really genuine way, it just feels so much better and nicer to listen to music on the speakers versus like on the 14 Pro Max. You're going to get a lot of distortion and it just doesn't sound as good as the 17. Another reason why this is a worthy upgrade is because of the overall screen size. As you can see, the bezels are so much smaller now, and overall the screen gets a lot brighter. It looks better, but as you can see, it's not by much, but you do get a little bit more screen real estate. As you can see, we're on the exact same website, but you can see just a little bit more. Another great reason with the body design is that this has a 5088 milliamp battery versus this one over here. It's a lot smaller. And also with the 14 Pro Max upgrading for the 13, a lot of people did have a lot of concerns about the battery life being worse, and a lot of people ended up turning off their always on display. Versus now with the 17 Pro Max, you can have all that stuff on and get really great battery life. Another great reason why you might want to upgrade is because of the faster charging versus with the lightning port, it was a lot slower. And on the USB-C, you do have up to 40 watts of charging, which can pretty much give you 50% in up to 30 minutes, which is a really great worthy upgrade feature that I highly recommend if you're thinking about upgrading. This right here can really charge your phone super fast, especially if you need it in the quick moments where you're just low on battery at the moment. Another worthy update is the fact that this screen now goes up to 3000 nits of brightness versus this one goes up to 2000. And honestly, it's a big difference, especially if you're outside. You're going to notice that you're going to be able to see a lot more content. Now, the next great reason why you really want to upgrade is because of the cameras. Now, depending on what type of user you are, this may not be a big concern because at the end of the day, they pretty much look similar if you're just using this camera app that comes with the phones. However, you know, with the 14 Pro Max, not all of the cameras are actually 48 megapixels versus like with the 17 Pro Max, every single camera that you're getting here is going to be 48 megapixels. And not only that, you get ProRes RAW, you get a lot of open gate options if you want to shoot anamorphic, which is going to be really great for those scenarios. And overall, you're just getting a lot more detail in the 17 Pro Max when you're using the cameras versus with the 14, you're going to start using lower megapixel cameras as soon as you get off that main camera. Another great reason to upgrade is the fact that the 17 Pro Max does get a lot more dynamic range than the 14 Pro Max. However, it may not be a big deal. It is pretty noticeable if you really are considering using these phones for content creation. And if you are on that content creation side, the fact that you you can use log recording with this phone. You could really pair it up to your real cameras if you have other cameras that are actually recording in log. Now, another great reason why you definitely want to upgrade is because of the selfie camera, which can now go all the way up to 18 megapixels. And not only that, it's so much wider than it was before, as you can see. And not only that, this is going to be super great for vlogging if you want to just hold your phone vertical, and you got a lot more ratio aspects that you could use with the 17 Pro Max. Another great reason why it's definitely worth upgrading is because of the fact that the overheating issue that you're going to get with the 14 Pro Max or even the 15 or the 16 is pretty much resolved now with the 17 Pro Max with that vapor chamber cooling. And I also notice is that you don't get a lot of dimming on the screens versus like with this 14 Pro Max, it always dimmed a lot, especially on iOS 26. Now, if you're a user that's saying, oh, I don't notice dimming and overheating on my 14 Pro Max, you're probably on 18. You're probably on iOS 18, and that's the reason why. Now, if you're going to upgrade to iOS 26, you're going to notice all of those overheating issues and dimmings, because like this thing is a powerhouse operating system versus like with the 17 Pro Max is going to be able to handle all that with all the refractions and all that kind of stuff without dimming the screen and overheating. And that right there, in my opinion, is the biggest reason why you want to upgrade. Another great reason why you want to upgrade is because of the speed and the RAM, versus with the 14 Pro Max, I believe it came with 8 gigabytes of RAM, versus with the 17 Pro Max, it's actually 12 gigabytes of RAM. So apps are going to be able to stay open longer. You're going to be able to open up apps faster without things closing up on the background. Now, the last reason you definitely want to upgrade is because of Apple Intelligence. Now, if you're on the 14 Pro Max, you don't get all the Apple Intelligence features. And at the end of the day, if you're a heavy ChatGPT user, that right there is a big deal. And you're going to just be using that ChatGPT app versus like with the 17 Pro Max, you could do different stuff like tap to Siri, and it's noticeably faster with just using Siri. And also, if you have shortcuts and stuff like that, you can enable Apple Intelligence in the shortcut, which can cut down a lot of time of opening the app. For an example, say if you are a power user and you like to respond to sponsorships using ChatGPT to just sound a little bit more professional, you could literally set up a shortcut where you can highlight everything and build it into the system where you can have AI tools where you can quickly reply and do a whole bunch of other things. Versus if you're using an older phone, you're going to have to copy and paste everything and go into here and basically do everything you need to do, which can take a lot longer. Versus here, you could just do it straight in the app that you're using versus jumping around to different apps, which I highly recommend. Definitely worth it, and especially if you're considering upgrading. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be upgrading this year and what current phone do you currently using right now. Let me know what other videos you want to see on this channel. Make sure you add me on Instagram, Threads, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this.